Hello, everybody, and welcome to my talk on what's my homeschool mission, the benefits of a homeschool mission plan. And while we're waiting for people to start coming in and viewing and signing in, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Nancy Jo Wilson. I am a homeschool mom of almost 20 years. I'm a homeschool veteran. I've been doing this a long time. And I have homeschooled in 4 different states. I've been part of 3 different co-ops, countless play groups and field trip groups and all kinds of things. So I've been doing this a long time and I have a lot of experience. And I wanted to give you, thank you. I wanted to give you just the benefit of my experience in this area because I love homeschooling and I love talking about homeschooling. It's one of my favorite things. I like to talk to moms, whether they've just started or been homeschooling a long time. So a mission statement. You're probably thinking, isn't that what businesses do? Should we be making a mission statement for our family? That's kind of strange. But actually, a mission statement is just a declaration or overall goal or purpose of an organization. So when you write a homeschool mission statement, you're basically just making a declaration of your goals as a homeschooler. But to kind of get us into the moment and into the idea, I am going to read the mission statements of 3 fast food restaurants. And in my research, I found out they're actually called quick serve restaurants, not fast food. But so at QSR, a fast food restaurant, I'm going to read 3 mission statements. And with each one, I want you to try to guess who they are. And so I'll start with the first one. This company's mission statement is to be our customers' favorite place and way to eat. So what QSR or fast food restaurant do you think has a mission of being their customers' favorite place and way to eat? I'm going to give you a quick clue. This place was probably the first fast food restaurant to have Wi-Fi. They have reconstructed where they have all types of different seating. There's bench seating, and then there's high tables and there's low tables. And I've even been in some of these fast food restaurants where they even had tables with video games in them. Does this help any of you figure out what company this is? This is McDonald's. This is McDonald's mission statement. And you can tell by the way it's worded, it's our customer's favorite place and way to eat. The quality of the food's not in there. Now, if you go to their website, there's a lot about the quality of the food. But in the mission statement, it's about the location and the way to eat, which makes sense why they would have been the first ones to have those kiosks where you could do your own special order. Okay, fast food restaurant number 2. If you can guess it, type it into the comments. Their mission is to offer reasonably priced food served quickly in attractive, clean surroundings. To offer reasonably priced food served quickly in attractive, clean surroundings. What fast food restaurant do you think that might be? So clearly from their mission statement, their most important point is affordability. And when I go to this fast food place, that comes to mind. I mean, it's not ugly, but at the same time, you know, it's not like McDonald's where you're walking in and feel like you have your own little business suite over here. Well, this is probably McDonald's biggest competitor. That would be Burger King. And lastly, this one's mission statement is to be America's best at winning and keeping customers. This company's mission statement is to be America's best at winning and keeping customers. Which company do you think that this is? Clue. It's probably the South's favorite fast food restaurant. That would be Chick-fil-A. Now, when you think about it, everything in this mission statement is about winning customers and keeping customers. If you ever been to a Chick-fil-A, they're always asking, can we refill your drink? They don't say you're welcome, they say my pleasure. And they have the world's best drive-through service. So it's clear from the way they run their business that customer service is important to them. But the point I'm making is this: these are all fast food restaurants, all of them, but their motivations and their goals are completely different. And you can see that in the way that the restaurant is run and decorated and set up. And it's no different for homeschoolers. Homeschoolers we're all doing the same thing. We're educating our children at home, but we vary wildly in our goals and our purposes and in the way that we go about it. So that is why a homeschool mission statement can be important, because it helps you focus on what is important to you and what you want to do. So I've got a confession to make before we get too far into this. I'm a curriculum junkie. Actually, I'm a book junkie, and that's why I'm also a curriculum junkie, but I love curriculum. I love the way it feels to open the box and see all the shiny covers inside. I like the way it sounds when you flip the pages. I love curriculum. I can go to the FPEA convention, which is the Florida Parent Educators Association, one of the largest conventions in the United States, and spend hours on the vendor floor looking at curriculum. So I want you to go ahead now. If you are a curricular junkie, go ahead and hit an emoji for me, hit a heart or a smiley face, and let me know that you too are a curriculum junkie. Well, the problem with being a curriculum junkie is you end up at home with 3 different math books, a ton of English books, 3 different history workbooks, 6 science workbooks. You have all this stuff, and it's way too much to do in a day, a week, or in a school year. But I paid the money for it, so I feel guilty about it. So then I'm trying to make it work and cram it into our day, which only overwhelms my kid. And when I realized I was doing that, that's when I first decided, I should have some parameters to help me make decisions about curriculum. I need to have some internal boundaries that will stop me from going, oh, look, that Pete the Cat math book, that looks really cool. And do what's best for myself, my kid, and my budget. And that's where my homeschool mission statement first evolved, was setting these parameters for myself and buying curriculum. So that is the first way that a mission statement can benefit you, is that it benefits you in your curriculum choices. Secondly, a mission statement can help you in your scheduling. Whether you choose year-round school or to do a traditional 9 months, these things can help be determined by a mission statement. And I just realized I meant to read you mine. So let me back up a little and read you my mission statement. The Wilson family homeschools to develop godly character, to teach good decision-making skills, foster creative thought, and provide knowledge. So back to deciding your scheduling. For our family, we got a school year-round. Because creativity is a goal, and because godly character is a goal, and we have these other goals, there are a lot of times when we say, hey, we're going to take a break from our regular day and go volunteer over here. Or, hey, we're going to take a break from our regular day and paint rocks, because that's what we're doing today. So I need a year-round setting so that I can make sure that I also achieve knowledge and that my children would reach the amount that needs to be in a given school year. Within the scheduling, a mission statement can also help you decide what activities to be involved in, what types of things to pursue. Something might sound like a really cool activity to be involved in, but if it doesn't line up with your mission statement, it's possible that that would just be one more thing in your week or in your month that would lead to stress. So it helps you decide what you should do. It even helps you microschedule. For example, last week I wasn't feeling well. So Peck ended up doing like a lot of book work. And since creativity is important to our homeschool, this week I made sure I scheduled in a lot of hands-on, a lot of projects, a lot of outside-the-box learning to make up for all the inside-the-box learning that happened last week. The third thing that a homeschool mission statement can help you with is evaluation. In In Tech's eighth grade year, Tech is my now married son who I homeschooled all the way from preschool all the way up and into college. So in Tech's eighth grade year, we moved halfway across the country. I had a high risk pregnancy. My grandmother was ill and eventually passed away. So we had all of these. Oh, and my husband in his new job in that new state was a totally different work schedule. He went from a typical 9 to 5 schedule to 12 hours, 2 day on, 3 day off. It was crazy. It was a crazy year. And so I thought, you know what I'll do? I'll get us a nice online school for him to do. We call him Tech for a reason. He loves computers. He'll really benefit and enjoy probably doing school online, and then I'll make everything easier. But you know what? He did not connect to online school. I thought it would be right up his alley, but I forgot he's also a social butterfly and gets a lot out of human interaction. So his academics were not great that year. They were lackluster. So it would be easy to say the whole year was a failure. But when I reevaluated the year and I looked at it in terms of our mission statement, you know what? That year, he stepped up in the household. He took on a responsibility that was appropriate for his age. He helped take care of his little brother. He entertained himself when I had to lay down when I was pregnant. He really grew a lot in that year in his maturity. And so, as far as the points of developing godly character and learning good decision making skills, he got an A plus. So while the academics might not have been that great, I can still say, you know what, it was a great year because he achieved a lot within our mission statement. So a mission statement also provides a really good way to really evaluate how well your year has gone or not gone. And back even in the smaller scale version of it, your mission statement can help decide how you evaluate comprehension. For example, with ours, we don't do a lot of tests or answering a lot of workbook questions. We choose different ways to assess. Like I just posted a video where Peck, my fourth grader, built a scene from a book we had just read, and that equally showed his comprehension, but it wasn't an in the book kind of thing, which does line up with our mission statement. So all of those benefits of a mission statement help within your home parameters, but it also helps with parameters outside the home. Because let's get real. We as women, what do? We compare. We compare ourselves to each other. And just as there are so many different homeschool families, it's very easy to just look at that family over there and go, oh, what are they doing? Should I be doing that? And suddenly you're changing your homeschool because of that. When I first started homeschooling, baking your own bread was a really big thing all the homeschoolers did. Not only did they bake their own bread, but they actually milled their own wheat and flour for the bread. I don't cook. I don't enjoy cooking. It's a good thing my husband does, or we'd be living off like SpaghettiOs. It's not my thing. So I was definitely not baking bread. But I could kind of feel the pressure. Not that it was intentional, but everybody I knew was doing it. And even when people don't intend, sometimes in your mind, can start going, wait, am I doing this thing wrong? Should I be doing what they're doing? And this is where a homeschool mission statement helps. Because when you look at other homeschoolers, you can say to yourself, you know what they're doing is super cool. But that's not what my goals are. So what I'm doing is good for me. It helps you have confidence in the choices you're making as you homeschool your family. It has a great benefit for that. And you're not swayed by what others are doing. Like I've had friends who academics was their number one most important thing that they were doing. And they got up at 6 and ate breakfast and did their chores and started school at a set time. They spent a set time on every subject. Then they had a lunch break. And that was great for them because academics was important. But it's not how my family rolled. So, hey, every day is different. We don't start at the same time any day of the week, but we do get it all done. But at first, I was kind of intimidated by that family. It's like they are never behind. I feel like I'm always playing catch up. But I realized their goals are different than mine. So that's another benefit of homeschooling. Now, before I get into the whole process of how to write a mission statement, I want to finish up with a little story. We've moved a lot since 2008. Just the path the Lord had for us, and in the middle of the spring semester of Tech's sophomore year, we moved to a new state. And I was looking at their homeschooling stuff, and the local technical college had this really cool vocational program that was for half a day. And so I called them and talked to them, and they said, you're welcome in the program, but you have to sign up with the school district you're in. You have to go to that high school and sign up through that high school. And I was like, okay, cool. And I went down to the local high school, and they had me meet with the senior school counselor. And so I sit down, I explain my situation, and the first thing he does is he looks at me and he says, well, you may consider him a sophomore, but we may consider him a freshman. I was like, what? And then he said, you're going to have to bring in all the books you've used through high school last year and this year so we can assess and see if they meet our standards for those subjects. And then we can determine what grade your son is in. And then he went on to say that my son would have to take the final for whatever the math before him was. So like he was in algebra 2, so he would have to take the geometry final and pass it for them to put him in algebra 2. And it's like, yeah, because everybody does great taking a final off the cuff. But by the time this man was done speaking, I felt so small. I felt so tiny. I remember walking out to my car and sitting there dejected and thinking, wow, is it possible that I have not educated my son properly? Is it possible that he hasn't learned enough? He would get a better education at this school. Maybe that's what I should do. I mean, I just want to say that I know a lot of people who have had wonderful experiences with their local school counselors and their local school districts. I am not by any means saying that this is how all these people are. It's just how the one I met was. And I was so dejected in the car, and I was praying to the Lord, and he reminded me of my mission statement. And that's when I started looking at it. Number 1, developing godly character. Number 2, making good choices. Well, that particular high school may have had really good academic standards. They had a really high teenage pregnancy rate. So clearly, godly character and good decision making was not being taught at that school. And I realized, you know what? It may be. It's possible he might get better academics at this high school, but he's not going to get a better all the other things that I think are important in his education. It's not going to happen. And as a result of that, I just was like, oh, and I felt tons better, and I drove home, and I was fine because I had a mission statement that could remind me of what I thought was important. And that's what a mission statement can do for you and your family, even if you've been homeschooling a long time. They just help you to focus on your goals and to have confidence in what you're doing. So I'm going to take a few minutes and I'm going to tell you how to write your own mission statement. First of all, brainstorm. Take a few minutes. In fact, we're going to sit here for a second and I'll give you a chance to write them down if you want to. Write down all the reasons you want to homeschool, all the reasons that you think it's important to homeschool. I'm going to write mine down, even though I already have my mission statement. Your goals change from time to time, so I'm going to write mine down very quickly as well. Go ahead, hit an emoji if you want to when you're done, if you're participating in this part of the exercise. Okay, so here are mine. I wrote down a whole bunch of things: school, faith, that my boys can be independent, volunteering, creativity, making good choices, responsibility, and pursuing interests. Now, the next thing you want to do is collate, because this is way too much to put in a mission statement. That would be like really long, and you would have a hard time remembering what you said. So take a second and collate them. For example, if you look at this one, really, responsibility, good choices, and independence really are kind of the same thing. It's a goal to raise sons that by the time they're adults, they can make good citizens, good spouses, good employees. So it's all kind of the same thing. And if I look at it for me, faith and volunteering are also the same thing, because part of what I'm to do as a Christian is to love and serve others. So volunteering comes out of my faith. And then really for me, pursuing interests and creativity are the same thing. You might not have a son who's an artist, but my son was 100% into computer programming, all about it. And I wanted him to have the opportunity to pursue it. So kind of collate the ones that go together and really make one item. Okay, so take a second to do that. If you maybe you were doing it as I was talking. And now, so now I really have whittled it down to 4 separate ideas. And I want you to look at yours. And if you have a whole bunch still, just to choose the top 3 or 4 and just put them in order from the most important to the least important in your family. So for us, our faith in Jesus Christ is number 1. I feel like we should guide our child's character, not the school. So that's number 1. Number 2 would be the making good choices. Because ultimately, a home education is about raising, as I said, sons who can enter the world and take care of themselves and a family. And so that's number 2 for us. I have a very creative family on both sides. On my side of the family, my sister's a musician, a beautiful singer. You know, my niece's creativity comes out in these beautiful cakes that she can make and baked goods. My husband's father was an artist. My husband's a worship leader and a musician. So creativity is very important. So I put that number 3. And then for me, number 4 is school. That doesn't mean that knowledge is unimportant. It just means that it's the least important in this list. So then the last step of writing your mission statement would be to string all of these together into one statement. As I said, mine is the Wilson family homeschools in order to develop godly character, teach good decision-making skills, foster creative thought, and provide knowledge. So take all that, run it together, write it down, put it in your lesson planning book. If you're blessed to have a schoolroom, maybe write it on the board, however you want to do it, and just remind yourself, this is why I do this. And when you do that, it'll help you make your curriculum choices. It will help you with your scheduling. It will give you confidence in your homeschooling. And it will help you evaluate your year. And the benefits for such a simple task are far beyond. So I want to thank you. If you haven't already liked my author page, I would ask you to go ahead and do that. I talk about faith and homeschooling on there quite often. And I also will have some exciting news coming up in a couple weeks. So go ahead and like that author page. If you have any more questions for me, please feel free to type them in the comments or put them in Messenger. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and have a great night.